Let's see. I just want to make sure I can be heard. I'm just checking. Give me a quick second, guys. If you are on the playback, I don't you can't even hear me. Let's see. Audio is on. So I don't know why it can't be heard. Let's see. Okay, we're on. Okay, sound is on. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. Once again, my name is Princella. Welcome to my next location. I am a Seattle-based flight attendant currently working with a major U.S. airline company. On my channel, I do share my flight attendant experience from start to finish, going through the application process, going for training, among other things. But in today's live, I did want to share a quick channel update with you guys, because as you've seen so far, your girl has been trying to hit 1K. Hello. I've been trying to hit 1K, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's been difficult in the sense that it's like the hardest thing I've ever experienced, but it's been quite slow. But one thing I will say is that I want to thank you all for the support, because I don't know you, you don't know me, but yet you guys are always here supporting me, watching the content, because the analytics don't lie. They do not lie. And I do appreciate the support that I'm receiving from you all. This live is definitely impromptu. So I'm testing things out, because I do want to do a few more lives to give you all the opportunity to come on board and ask me questions that you have as well. Because I know sometimes you watch my videos and then you have questions, like you have genuine questions. And I feel that trying to incorporate lives into my videos or my channel as a whole would help you all have direct access to me and to be able to ask me questions as well. So that's why I'm here. If you are here and you're currently watching me, do not hesitate to drop a heart in the comment section below, or drop a question that you have. Say hi, say hello. Don't stalk me. Don't be out here stalking me, okay? Ask the questions that you have. Drop a hello in the comment section below. But like I was saying, you guys have been supporting me so far, watching the content, and I do appreciate you all. I honestly do appreciate you all. But once again, my goal is to hit 1K, girl. Like I want to hit 1K by the end of this month. Initially, my goal was to hit 1K by in the fall, but I have made tremendous progress because of the support that I do receive from you all. So thank you so much, and I hope you continue to support me. If you are watching this live playback, please fast forward. I will leave it in the comment section below to fast forward, because initially my audio was not working, but it's back on. Let me put this here. But yes, here we are. And like I was saying, I do appreciate you all, and I do want to add lives. So let me know in the comment section below if you guys want to see more lives. That way you can have direct access to me in terms of the questions you can ask me and stuff like that. And then also any type of videos that you guys want. I'm planning on coming here as often as possible, just have a quick chat and stuff like that. But once again, like I said, I'm a new Seattle-based flight attendant. If you're wondering, I'm still on my probation, and our probation is for 6 months. So I'm still on probation right now, and so far it's been great. We do have monthly meetings and stuff like that. Some are group meetings and some are one-on-one meetings as well. But so far it's been great. The crew has been amazing. The base has been great. If you're new flight attendant, let me know in the comment section below as well. If you're watching the playback, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your support. So thank you so much. I'm still trying to figure things out. This is my first like actual live where I'm using a camera, a software, and everything. So I do have a question here. Oh, I just got a subscriber. Oh no, David, where's your comment? David, I lost your comment, but please go ahead and post it again. I was just about to read your comment and I lost it. So sorry about that. Oh no, David, put the comment back. Post the comment again. Yes, thank you guys so much once again. I did have a news to share though. I heard through the grapevines that flight attendant training, it's now going to be 7 weeks. I don't know how true that is, but it was communicated at some point. I don't know if they're actually going to move forward with it, but it's going to be 7 weeks with the airline company that I work for. And honestly, if they're going to increase the amount of weeks to allow them to spend more time on service delivery, that would be great. Because let me be honest. So me starting being a flight attendant just recently, I've been flying for 3 months now. One thing I will say is when you do get on the line the first time, when it comes to providing service, you are at a loss. Like when it comes to emergency evacuation, the drills, how to arm and disarm doors, like you know what to do, because literally training focused on that. Training, literally the chunk of the training time, right, was focused on emergency situation or emergency things, which I understand because that's the primary role of a flight attendant. It's not about serving cookies and pretzels, and I do know that they do try to hire flight attendants that once again, if you can't hear me, let me know in the comment section below, because I'm still trying to figure things out. So there might be delays in my audio, or if it's not clear, please let me know. But when you get on the line and when it comes to providing service, you literally feel like you're at a loss, because although they will talk about service during training, it's not enough. And someone like me who learns by observing and actually doing the act, it was tougher for me because the only time I got to do service was when I went on my training flights. And remember, if you've watched my previous videos for training, there were turbulence on our flights. Either one of them or all of them, actually, there was turbulence. So the first one, there was so much turbulence that we could not even do service at all, going to the destination and coming back to Atlanta. And the second one, there was turbulence, but we were able to do service anyway. So imagine if you were on flights where you could not do service, so it made it really hard. So one thing I will say is that if they're going to extend training to 7 weeks, and they're going to, which would allow them to spend more time on service delivery and everything, that would be great, because I get the reason why that's not the primary focus, because you can learn on the job, you can learn as you go, but you never know what crew you're going to end up with. And I feel that depending on who you're working with, you might not get the knowledge or the support that you might need to be successful. So it makes it kind of hard. I know the resources are there, but when you're on the plane and you're working in that moment, you don't have time to go read a 5-page handout on how to provide service, so I have mixed feelings. Is 7 weeks as long? Because 6 weeks was a lot for me. Oh, David. All right. David said, I just subscribed. Why? Because you deserve it 100%. Your energy and enthusiasm is infectious. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. I do try to remain positive here, okay? Thank you so much, David. But like I was saying, yes. So if they are extending it to 7 weeks, it's completely fine. I'm not against it. I'm here for it. But service, but not to scare you all, it's not hard, but I've had conversations with other new flight attendants who did not get the best experience. Like me, for example, the first time I did galley, for me, the individual that I did it with, I liked their approach because it forced me to learn. Oh, I have another comment. Oh, Lam, I hope I'm getting your name correct. Lam says they just got their CJO last week and I helped them a lot. Oh, thank you so much for the feedback. I appreciate that, because my goal is to make the process as easy and as simple as possible for you all, because I know when I was going through it, I was looking for videos, not necessarily to tell me what the content for training will be about necessarily, but just to give me an idea of what the overall structure would be. That's why I tried to document my experience from start to finish. That way you can get a better picture of what to expect. Not necessarily telling you what the content is, because honestly, it won't make any difference. Whether you know the content beforehand or after, it won't make any difference, because the content itself is not difficult. It's just that I feel the training has been set up to push us beyond our comfort zone, to test you, because when you're on the job, that will happen. And I feel those conditions definitely set you up for success, because it was tough during training, but once I got on the line, things happened quite easy. Obviously, when you're starting from the beginning, you might have anxiety here and there, figuring out your parking situation, among other things, not knowing what to expect or what to do. Or honestly, my first few trips, I was just present and in place. I was just there. Like, it felt like I was just existing in the moment. But after a while, I got a hang of things and the flow starts to get better for you. But like I was saying, when I was doing, like I was saying, when I was doing galley, the person that I work with, they tested me, and I appreciated that. But not everybody learns that way. Like she would question me, she would test me on looking at the galley right now, what's wrong, what have I left out. Like I love that because it put me on my toes and it allowed me to learn and figure things out on my own. But not everybody learns that way. So somebody might take offense to the approach, but I did not. But then again, I'm that person that likes to see the positive in everything. So I'm not necessarily out here trying to dwell on the negative. And that's what you should keep in your mind when you go for training. Do not focus on the negative. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. It is draining and it is exhausting. Focus on what's going well for you. That will help you a lot. But yeah, that's how it happened when I did galley. And even when I was doing service, you have to be open to taking feedback. If you're just jumping in and you're wondering what I'm talking about the fact that I heard through the grapevines that training for flight attendant with the airline company that I work with has been extended to 7 days. It went from 6 weeks to 7 days. 6 weeks, I wish it was 7 days, to 7 weeks. So now it's going to be longer. But what I was saying was that if they're going to extend it that much by a week, I hope they're planning on using that last week to focus on service delivery, because I know when they hire us, we all come with customer service experience, and that's great and all, but there are some basic stuff that you're supposed to know, core stuff that you're supposed to know when it comes to delivering service, like setting up your galley, and then the interaction aspect obviously comes with your customer service experience, which is fine. But if you don't get that training as well, I'm also adding on to say don't be perturbed or overwhelmed or scared in any way, because you will learn as you go. But you also have to open yourself up for feedback, because not everybody would communicate with you the way you want. Not everybody would approach you in the manner in which you want or deserve, in quotes. But you also have to remember the fact that you're working with individuals with different personalities from different countries, honestly, from all parts of the world. And things might not always go your way, but just look at the positive angle of things. They're showing you something. The approach might not be the best in the moment, because remember, they're probably under pressure too. Not everybody's a good teacher. So that's why not everybody is an instructor. So you also have to give them that leniency and understand that, hey, it's not easy for them, but just be open to feedback. And that's one of the feedback that I've gotten a lot from the people that I've worked with. I am getting comments. I would definitely refer to your comments, guys. Give me 1 second. I don't want to forget my train of thought because it's my first time. So one of the feedbacks that I've gotten a lot from other flight attendants, veterans, is that I take feedback really well. Like even if I don't like the approach, I'm smiling through it, I'm taking it. I'm not going to let that impact the way, let's say I'm serving a customer. Let me give a typical example. I'm serving a customer beverage, right? And I'm not pouring it correctly, or I'm not laying down the linen correctly, or whatever. Even if the flight attendant I'm working with corrects me in front of the customer, some people don't like that. They take offense to the fact that, like, you're talking down on me in front of a customer, but I'm not going to let that impact my interaction with the customer. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to turn my face. I'm not going to act out simply because she did something wrong to me while in front of customers, because 2 wrongs don't make it right. So if they talk to me wrong and I react in the same way, it doesn't make things any better. But not everybody would like that or will be able to handle the situation that way. But I will say, just take feedback. Like, if it comes to you, take it as it is. Take it as a learning experience, because that's the only way you can learn sometimes. And it might be in the moment and it might not be conducive, but it is what it is. But yes, oh, let me read some comments here. I have Orit, I hope I'm saying it correctly. Orit Rindner, I hope I'm saying it correctly. They say, hi there. I have been watching you all week. You are amazing. I love your pep talks. My face-to-face is next week. Congratulations. As I've always said in my videos, be yourself, be authentic. Don't try and put up a facade, and also flow through naturally, because during my 101 on my event day, it was more so conversational, because I genuinely wanted to know more about the job. And I will say and give them props for the fact that they were very, very honest. They were so honest with the reality of the job, making me aware that me being a new flight attendant, I might might potentially get a schedule where I'm working every weekend. But honestly, getting on the line, that has not been the case. I have had some weekends off. Like literally my trip for August, I had weekends off. So it's not, they give you the worst case scenario, which is good because it sets your expectation very low. That way, when you go out there and it's way better, then it's a win-win for all. But my 101, I made it very conversational because I genuinely wanted to know. And it was actually really long. I think I was one of the last people to come out of my 101 because they do, when you do go through, there was like over 60 of us. So we are broken up into sections. And at every point in time, each section is doing one of the activities that they have planned for us. So luckily for me, my section was one of the first groups that had their one-on-one interview. So it was right out the gate, I went straight into doing that. And I was one of the last people to come return back from my section, from my one-on-one. They literally had to come call us out. Not necessarily because it was hard or difficult or anything, but I genuinely wanted answers to the questions that I had because I had worked with different companies and I wanted to make sure that this was the right fit for me. I got all the information I need to say yes to the CJO or to decline the offer. So I take the time to ask all the questions that you have. Don't be afraid to talk about pay. Don't be afraid to talk about scheduling. Don't be afraid to talk about any questions that you have about the job. Obviously, I will say be professional, but be honest. And if you have questions or need additional information, I do have a whole playlist on how to become a flight attendant, which I will definitely leave in the description box eventually. But yeah, it was congratulations. Go get that CJO. Go get that CJO and let me know when you do get that CJO as well so we can celebrate. And then I have Herman Ham here. Of course, you are a little frustrated, but your maturity has it under control. Exactly. So because it can get frustrating, honestly, like especially when you do international trips, that is like going somewhere like Amsterdam or London or Paris or China, like because the way the service flows, let me say this, it's very different. Like it's very different. I don't know if it's because I just did it. That being said, I do have a vlog coming out soon. I worked Amsterdam for the first time, my very first international trip. And the service it's very different. Like, it is different. The aura is different. The energy is different. The flow is different. And there's so many things that you have to do when it comes to service delivery. That's why I was so disappointed coming out of training, knowing that we did not spend a lot of time on service delivery. I am telling you, the honest truth is that it is different. It is a whole beast on its own, but it is doable. It is manageable. You just have to set yourself up for success and know that whatever happens, you remain positive. You just keep your composure and just keep going because you're learning. And it's frustrating because they are there to do their jobs and they did not sign up to be an instructor. They did not sign up to teach anyone. But it's just that sometimes it's better to have somebody who is on the job show you how to do the job, you know. But not everybody has the temperament and the ability to actually instruct and show other people things. But I was fortunate that I worked with a crew that were amazing. They were very easy. They were very welcoming. They were open and willing to teach me and show me. And it made it very, very easy and fun. So yes, I did do Amsterdam this month. I got it on my 8 days. I was sitting somewhere minding my own business and crew scheduling came calling and assigned me an Amsterdam trip. I think it's because somebody originally on the trip called out last minute. So I got it. But I was already planning on picking up international trips for August. So it just came earlier than expected. All right. Yes, it is 7 weeks training is now 7 weeks. It is definitely 7 weeks. But like I was saying, let's look at the positive side of it. Probably it's going to be 7 weeks now because they do want to focus more on service delivery because I'm telling you all, domestic service and international service are two separate things. They are very, very different. And I would say, even if you don't want to be a flight attendant that works international trips, still make it a point to work one from time to time, just to, especially when you're new, because you never know when you're going to be assigned an international trip on your reserve days. So it's better to learn whenever you can. If you have to pick up a trip to learn it, do so. That way, when you do get thrown into it and you're not in a position to get a good position, because there have been moments where new flight attendants right out of training have been assigned galley on international trips. Yes, literally, you're like 2 weeks in, you get assigned an international trip because you're probably on reserve, and you unfortunately or fortunately get assigned galley. So galley essentially is where our food, snacks, and everything is set up. Beverage, like the service delivery in terms of food, beverages, and stuff like that. That's where those things are kept. And when you're galley, you're in charge of like dispensing those items. So there are carts that we're using, there are items that we're using, and you being the galley person, you're responsible for setting them up and providing the items when they should be provided. Most of the time, I have seen other crew members help you set up carts, help you pull out things, help you set up things and stuff like that. But being the galley person, you should have an idea of what you're doing just so the flow is better. Plus, you never know who you're going to end up working with. They might not be willing to help you out. So it is what it is. But that's what a galley person is. But like I said, if you can get the opportunity to work international trips, go ahead and do it and get your practice in now, because there have been moments where people have been on international trips, been on a crew where they have ended up doing galley, even though they were just 2 weeks in the job. So it can happen. So hopefully the 7 weeks will focus on that, because it would definitely be very helpful. Herman is saying maybe another IOE for practical experience. I agree. Honestly, the first time I did my international trip, which was just like not my last rotation, the one before that, I thought to myself, wow, I wished we actually did a IOE trip where I did an international rotation. I get the expense or the cost perspective of it, but comparing the two services, it's very different. Because the IOE trips that we had, one was customer service related and one was safety related. So the first one was safety bound, pre-flight checks, arming and disarming doors. Even though you're not arming and disarming doors, disclaimer, you're not doing that when you go on those trips when you're in training. But I feel like there should have been a better mock-up when it came to the international trips that we did, because the service delivery is very different. And I know they did try to show us during training, but it was short, it was compact, it was compressed, and looking back, I remember them talking about the stuff that I did when I was on this recent trip, but I feel that if we got the opportunity to actually do it, it would have been better. I think that's the best way to put it, because I know the cost involved and the impact and all that, but if that's the case, if we can't do that during training, then once we get out of training, I would suggest that it should be set up such that at least we get assigned one international rotation where we're on, and it's very clear to all the team members that this is an opportunity for a new flight attendant to actually learn how to do it. I don't know how to put it, but I know the complexities and how the job is set up. But honestly, for now, my advice would be, if you can get the opportunity to do an international trip, please go ahead and do it and learn how to do the service. It will be hard, because for me, the position that I ended up with one left inboard, which means I was sitting right next to the purser, and I was in charge. My responsibilities were, because Delta One has 2 aisles, because we're on a wide body aircraft, and wide body aircraft are aircrafts with 2 aisles in them. Narrow bodies have just 1 aisle in the middle, which are typically used domestically. And when you go international, you use the wide bodies. Not Hawaii international, but I mean like over the ocean, like London, Paris, Switzerland, like all those places, we use wide bodies. So me being one left inboard, I was sitting right next to the purser, so which means I was at the door 1, which is the door. Aircrafts have several doors. So I was at the first door on the left side of that aircraft, and I was sitting next to the purser. And my responsibility service-wise was to take care of the passengers that were on the aisle on the left side of the aircraft. So I was in Delta 1. So I did Delta 1 when we were going to Amsterdam. And then with the way our international service work, the positions change. We rotate positions. Some positions rotate or change on your way back. So inbound and outbound rotations change. So going to Amsterdam, I was in charge of the passengers that were seated. Hey, what's up? Those big old planes, they are big. They're definitely big. But side note, I will say that I love the way they take off and land. Because it's big, there's more room for absorption of shock and impacts compared to the narrow bodies where you literally feel everything and hear everything. So I actually enjoyed taking off and landing on a wide body. And that explained why every single time I've flown, I felt good, because every single time I had flown, I had gone international and had flown on wide bodies. It was only when I became a flight attendant and I started working that I actually flew on a narrow body. So it was definitely a huge shock for me. But yes, back to the point that I was making. So going to Amsterdam, I was in charge of Delta 1, the left aisle, and then another flight attendant was in charge of the right aisle as well. So I served first class, like literally the premium section of the whole flight, Delta 1. And it was a shocker because the ambiance is different. Unlike domestic service where I'm using the main cabin, I'm like, hey, cookies, chips, or whatever. But Delta 1 is quite different, you know? There's a whole bougie level to it. So I had to reel myself back in, let the look call, and it was just different. It was very different, and I was not ready for it. I did not know what to expect, but I was clearly not prepared for what I got. But it was good. The purser that was working with me was very nice. She was very patient with me. She would show me how to hold things, how to set things, because detail, like paying attention to detail, is very important when you're working Delta 1. So on an international rotation. So details are very, very important. You have to do certain things certain way to keep that customer service delivery at the top level. So it was definitely an experience. And then coming back, I was in the main cabin. I was part of taking care of premium, I think it's DSP. Yes, premium select something. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember right now. But I was in the main cabin essentially. So I did that. And the flow of service in the main cabin is also very different from domestic and very different from Delta 1. So it was a learning curve for me, and I think that's what made it harder. But it was okay. It was all good. It was definitely all good. I hope you guys can see me. I hope you can all see me. I hope I can be seen and heard. Let me know in the comment section below if you can still hear me. Let me know in the comment section below if... Oh no! No! Did I get cut off? Can you hear me though? Oh no! Got it. Can you hear me though? Can you hear my audio? I'm still trying to figure out the whole camera situation. But in the meantime, can you hear me? Can hear. Okay. All right, I'm still working on the... Got it. I'm still working on the camera aspect of it, but in the meantime, I'm still gonna continue with the conversation because either way is a content that's important. But yes, I would say if you do get the opportunity to do international, go ahead and do it. Let me go and read some comments here. Ori says, you said my name correctly. Perfect. Got it. Thank you. Branlin Morales, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I promise you, English is not my first language, so it's hard out here. I got an email today. They invited me to a face-to-face for first time, and I'm very nervous. Never had a professional job, and I'm not native English speaker, but I'm fluent. Just don't want to fail this. You won't. Just remain positive. Actually, remain positive. Remain very, very positive and keep your hope alive. Honestly, I would say just be yourself, and you don't necessarily need to have had a professional job before you can actually do this job. That's the truth. You just have to present yourself, and you just have to know how to market and sell yourself. Once again, I got it. I'm working on the camera aspect, but if you can hear me, I still want to respond to some of the points in the comment section below, because it's the value of the content that's important. You guys see me all the time, so you're good. But like I was saying, yes, don't think about failing. Just think about being your true self, and then also going in with the idea or the mentality that I really want this. Honestly, honest truth, let me share this. Because when I went in for the job initially, when I was going for my face-to-face, I wasn't sure if I really wanted to do this job. But one thing I will say is that the way the experience was, the way I was welcomed was so amazing that in that moment, the switch happened where I was like, no, I have to become a flight attendant. I have to work with this airline company. So just be true to yourself. And if you've watched my video on how to get your CJO, I did share a moment, an example, or ways by which you can be successful. One of which being that, and especially if you haven't had a professional job before, you've had a job before. And that's what's important. The fact that you've had a job before, you should be able, what you should do is that figure out at least 2 experiences that you've had. And I shared the process by which you can use the STAR method to answer questions relating to those experiences. So typically, if you're going for a customer service role, like the way this job is, you should be able to expect questions like how to deal with the difficult customers, how to work with the team and stuff like that. And one of the ways by which you can help yourself by being successful is using the STAR method to break down that process, what you did, what the situation was, and then what the task at hand was, what you did, and what was the end result. So the whole point of the STAR method is just to structure your response. That's the whole point of it. Because with someone like me that talks a lot, that can literally go off of a tangent, as you've seen right now in most of my videos, because I like to talk a lot, and when I have information, I really want to share it. It's hard for me to structure my responses. So the STAR method is helpful because it keeps you in line, and it allows you to deliver a response or an answer to a question in a more professional and structured way. That's the whole point of it. English is not my first language either. I'm not native, but as long as you can communicate, and what I do is that because it's not my native language and I do have an accent, I talk slower when I'm responding to questions. I don't speak fast because I tend to speak fast, and sometimes it makes it harder for people to hear me or understand what I'm saying. So that's something that I do personally. But you got this. Go get that CJO. Take it easy. There are several activities. Like I've said in my videos, don't go trying to own the show. The moment for you to show out and to own your own is especially during that one-on-one interview. Bond with the person you're interviewing with. Make sure you have some sort of connection with that person, because whatever vibe they're getting from you would impact the outcome potentially from that interview. Because sometimes you might not necessarily have all the right answers, but if they can genuinely connect with you and feel your desire for this job, and to an extent have that feeling or understanding that you want to do this and you will be successful in this, that can help you out. Because I know during the event day, there were moments where I was like, oh my God, I did this wrong thing. Is this going to affect me? But one thing I was quick to do was to get myself out of that mind frame. So keep that in mind. Just make sure you're able to dwell on the positive and don't focus on the negative, because it's going to bring down your energy. And smile the whole time. Be happy. Enjoy the event. Hey, what's up? Yeah, those big old planes. Those planes are big. Those Boeing 737, love those planes. I do like the 737s because of the layout, because it's very simple. However, when it comes to arming that door, going down on my knees, touching that girth bar, there's just way too much involved when it comes to arming. arm in those doors. So because of that, I don't really like the 737s for that. But in terms of the layout of the galley, for example, the galley is very simple. It's very easy. So I do appreciate that as well. I do love the 737s, but I'm kind of like an Airbus girl because I feel like arming and disarming those doors are very simple. There's not much to do, but that 737, going down on your knees to touch those curb bar, it's too much involved. But I do agree. I do love the layout of the galley. I love it. It's amazing. I enjoy it all the time. And I've flown in a lot of those all the time. What other comment? You can hear me? Perfect. Still trying to figure out the camera situation, but we're just gonna smoothly ignore that for now. Audio is good. Thank you. Can't see me. Sorry about that. I'll definitely make it better in the future. This is definitely an impromptu live. Gia says, is the job really flexible as everyone says? It is for moms. You're in J class? Congratulations. How is training going? Let me know in the comment section below. I was in K class. So yes, it is flexible. It is very flexible. I will say it is flexible. When people say it's flexible because a typical example, which is going to be in a video that I'm going to share with you all. I do have a video coming out, my schedule reaction for August, which is going to come out on the 1st of August because it's Tuesday, which is when I share my videos. It's flexible in the sense that when I started off, when my schedule got released on the 16th of July for August, I only had 6 days for reserve and 3 trips. So I'm going to give more details in my schedule reaction video. But yes, I had, I had 3 trips assigned. So I had a 3-day trip, 1 3-day trip, and 2 2-day trips. The flexibility is that even if I decided to work just those trips, it gave me almost 15 days off in the month. And remember, when you're assigned a trip, you're not stuck with the trip necessarily. Oh, you start September 4th. Congratulations. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. But yes, you're not stuck with the trips. So the flexibility, which you would see in my schedule reaction video, is that, hey, Scott. Scott, what are you doing here? You should be on some plane somewhere. Hey, Scott. Oh, I miss you so much. It was so fun in class with you. Oh my God. I have a classmate here, Scott. Everyone say hi to Scott. Scott was amazing. He was like my core classmate. Like he was in so many of my photos, and also the training videos that I had. He was in so many of the photos. So Scott is a tall guy that was usually in my photo. If you guys saw the photos for my training class. But hey, Scott. But yes, like I was saying, Gia, it is very flexible. And as I will show in my August schedule, I literally reworked my schedule such that I got the days off that I wanted, move things around. So there are options in terms of flexibility. And for a mother, if you don't want to work on certain days, you can actually avoid working on those days. And then also, if you do want to work certain trips, you can specifically keep an eye out for those trips. But as I shared in one of my schedule reaction videos in the past, hey Scott, as I shared in my other schedules in the past, for a new flight attendant, if my request for scheduling is very simple, but I also understand that there are certain individuals who want certain days off, who want certain trips at certain times. But like I was saying, you have to figure out what's important for you. Is it the days off or the specific trips on specific days at certain specific times? So once you figure out what works for you, there are schedule specialists that can help you bid appropriately as well. So you're not on your own by yourself. Like me, how I got good at this right now was the fact that I figured out what I wanted and then I put in the bids. I sent a photo of my bids to the schedule specialist and I asked them to let me know if what I want, which I had listed, matched the bid that I have put in the system, because what you want is not necessarily what you're going to put in the system to get what you want. You have to do the reverse. It's weird and it's complicated, but Gia, it is flexible. You can move things around. You can swap with other flight attendants. You can swap with the system. So it's definitely, that's the flexibility of it. And honestly, I'm enjoying it. The fact that I can choose to work the bare minimum or do more. So it's definitely very flexible. Congratulations on getting the training date assigned. Go ahead and watch my training videos. I have a whole playlist on the training experience, so you can definitely benefit from that as well. It gives you an insight as to what to expect. But congratulations. Training might be hard, but it's definitely doable. As you can see, Scott and I made it through. So we are here. But yes, it's definitely doable. But as a mom, I do see the flexibilities that it offers. You can work red-eye trips, so you leave at night and you come back in the morning, so you can spend time with your kids as well. So there are people who literally just work red-eye trips. As a new flight attendant, you might not get assigned that right out the door. However, it's always on open time. There are always red-eye trips on open times that people don't want to work. So you can always swap into it as well. So you're not limited at all. Your options are endless. Let me read more comments here. You already know how to work the system. I had to, Herman. I had to figure it out because as a new flight attendant, it is hard out here in the streets. You won't get what you want. You won't get the destinations. Because when everybody becomes a flight attendant, we all want to fly international. We all want to do international rotations. But honestly, so far, I have enjoyed the domestic trips. And unlike most people who want so much, I don't want so much. I just want to be able to work the trips that pay me more. That's all. So working the system is a must. You need to learn it. But I also was able to learn how to work the system a bit than I did previously, because I talked to other senior mamas and papas as well. I asked them, hey, as a new person, what can I do to maximize my schedule? Because I won't get the trips that I want. But what can I do to be able to enjoy this job with regards to my schedule? And some shared leaving as much space on your schedule just to be able to swap the month coming into the month you're in, and then also just be strategic on how you work your schedule. So yes, Herman, I'm figuring it out. I'm making progress. Shariat also says, this is why I can't join the airline industry. Everyone is just so welcoming and cool. Everybody is just so encouraging and positive. You have to be, because for me, I think about it this way. I'm stuck in this tube with these people that I know from nowhere for hours. Like if you're doing an international trip, that's a 10-hour trip nonstop. So you're stuck with these people, and the least you can do is to provide a delightful experience, because if they're happy, you're happy, everybody's happy. It's a positive vibe. It's a positive energy. Negativity is draining and exhausting. So I don't want that in no parts of my life. What does Scott say? I'm working a 3-day trip. On day 1 of my layover in Jacksonville, starting to road. Hey y'all. Oh, you're on a 3-day trip. How is it going? Oh my God. How was your trip? Scott, I definitely need to bring Scott on this channel, because Scott has had an experience and he needs to share it. He needs to tell the world. His first 21 days as a flight attendant was a lot, but he's still here. He's still pushing through. So his story needs to be told to the world. I would definitely bring Scott here and I'll have him share his experience with you all, because he went through a lot. And honestly, I can't begin to start. It was a lot. For a new person, it was a lot. He got everything. He got everything thrown at him in his first 21 days. And kudos to Scott. He was amazing in training, so I'm not surprised he survived. So definitely enjoy your 3-day trip. Hopefully the layovers were good. Jacksonville. What's in Jacksonville? What you doing? What you doing, Scott? Where the party at? Where we going? Gia says, perfect. Thank you so much. I can't wait. Yes, I look forward to seeing you in the sky. Hopefully I get to fly with you, or at least I get to see you in passing. So what bases are available, Gia, though? What bases were open to you when you not that you have a training date assigned? You should be doing a not a base orientation, but a base informational session where they let you know what bases are available and what bases you can pick out of to be assigned. So if you don't mind, go ahead and share with me what bases are currently available, because I know Seattle closed recently. I don't know what bases are open right now, and I heard New York closed as well. I don't know how true that is, but Cheryl said, I need to be around in an environment like this. You should. I will be honest and say that it's not always that way, but life, like they say, life is what you make of it. So if you want to be in a positive environment, if you want to enjoy a positive aura and energy, you have to also exude that. You can't be negative mama and then expect positivity or positive energy around you. So for me, regardless of how bad things are, trust me, it's been bad. I had a situation where apparently I was working on a 737. I think it was 737-800. And we have luggage, like the bins are small, so everybody knows the bins are small. Gate agents know the bins are small, so when we start boarding, gate agents know that at a certain point in time we need to start checking in these carry-on bags or it's going to get bad. And I was first class assist, so I was up front with the flight leader greeting passengers. So I wasn't in the main cabin checking the flow of luggage and the space we had. Typically I do keep an eye out, but that trip as a whole, there was just too much going on with that trip, so to say the least. But the person that was in the bin that was helping the passengers in the bin, she was new. It was literally her first trip, and I did not know that. So she was obviously present and in place, and obviously lost because she's new. So I didn't know that. But at the end of the day, what happened was that it got to the point where we had more carry-on bags on board that we could fit in the bins. So unfortunately, the fourth flight attendant in the back, who had been here for years, I think like 7 years or 6 years or whatever, I don't know what happened or why she could not help out. I don't know what happened, but it's none of my business. And like I said, we keep it positive here. So we leave people to do whatever they want to do. But if I were back there, I would have done things differently. That's all I can say. So essentially, I had to move myself from up front all the way to the back, squeeze through passengers that were in the aisle waiting to sit, to make things happen. And sometimes you have to do that. You have to take charge. Sometimes you have to own the situation and take charge. And honestly, after everything, I had passengers thanking me for taking ownership, thanking me for taking charge, thanking me for grabbing the issue by the whatever and just making things happen. So I literally had to squeeze myself back there, ask people to put their bags on seats, stand in the seats area, allow the people that were going to the back to go to the back. Like I had to move people around. It was like a whole dance going on back there. But at the end of the day, I was able to resolve the situation. We were able to get the people whose bags could not get in the bin back to the front, checked in their bags and everything, and it was resolved. But sometimes you have to take ownership of the situation because nobody was willing to do anything. The new girl was new, she was confused, and the other person in the back that had been here for years just did not want to deal with the situation because she knew how bad it was. But sometimes you have to put yourself out there and own the situation. But I remained positive throughout. I was joking throughout. So that's the way to put it. If you do want that positive energy, you have to exude it, because I've had other flight attendants tell me, girl, you are so funny, even in the most tough and difficult and embarrassing situation. So, but in that case though, I will say it wasn't our fault in the sense that the gate agent did not start checking in bags. Even though we told them to do so, they didn't do it. So the tower was hot and the tower was coming for them. So it was a lot. But even in that moment, as bad as things got, we got delayed for like 30 minutes because of that. But I still didn't let that impact my energy at all. What is Scott saying? Scott says, I'm working. No, not that one. Let's go to the next one. She's smart. Yeah, of course. I learned from the best, Scott. You had a positive influence. Listen to her 100%. She's not telling you wrong. That's true. And Scott, I need to bring you up here because you had a lot to share. You've been through a lot. So I really want to share that so people can get a realistic perspective of how things go in this industry. It's not all roses, but it's definitely manageable, and it's what you make of it. You're welcome, Gia. It's B, I think. Sorry, I can't. If I'm murdering your names, I apologize in advance. I go to training in 2 weeks. You are a part of the reason I know I'll be successful. Thank you so much for that feedback, and you will be successful. The content is not difficult, y'all. Like, it is not difficult. I am honestly telling you that the content is not difficult. It's not difficult at all. It's the conditions in which you find yourself in that makes it difficult, because it's stressful. You're away from home for 6 weeks. You're not eating well. You're eating out the whole time. And it's a lot, and everything is given to you in a rush. So it feels like a lot. It feels like you won't be successful, but it's not. Take it one day at a time and just focus on your resources. Utilize your resources 100%. David said, I agree with you, Scott. She's totally on it, 100%. Thank you so much. Herman says, great idea. Come in, Scott. Yeah, definitely bring in Scott in. Yeah, Scott's video or Scott's live would be titled Surviving the First 21 Days, because he went through a lot. He definitely went through a lot. So I would definitely bring Scott, and it would definitely be surviving the first 21 days of being a flight attendant. David said, you got to do a Q&A with Scott. I do. I definitely do. It is long overdue. Now that if you're going to see this in my August schedule reaction, but I'm trying to structure it such that I work 4 days in a week and get 3 days off. So with that being said, it would give me time to be able to do more when it comes to creating content. Depending on how the content aspect of my life as a flight attendant goes, I might end up just doing 1 3-day trip every week. That way I can get 4 days off to be able to do all this. So definitely, I need to bring Scott on ASAP. It is long overdue. Lo, my sister says she's in, Sharia says her sister's in Jacksonville. Nice. Shara said 737. I love this place. I love them too. I like them. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. I just don't like arming and disarming them because sometimes those girth bars on the floor are way too tight. I literally almost lost a finger because of that. So I don't like the doors, but I like the simplicity of the way the plane is set up for sure. I agree. Cheryl says 3 to 4 years and didn't help. Yes, I think she was like 6, almost 7 years in, I believe. Yeah, nothing at all. And I was trying to call her to tell the people to go. And sometimes when you're dealing with people in situations, you expect that like people will be more welcoming in terms of or understanding, because it's not my fault all the people are back there. And that's why we're supposed to have flight attendants that are evenly distributed on the aircraft to be able to check these things and avoid these things and prevent these things from happening. But mistakes happen, but when they do happen, you will think that your colleague will be more open to helping you out. So I literally had to get people in the aisle putting their luggages on chairs on the seats just so they can create room for the passengers that are going to the back to go sit down. That way we can create room. So gradually I was able to reduce the amount of people in the aisle, and that made it easy for us to get those luggages out. Yes, it was a lot, but it was definitely a learning experience for me because it showed my leadership skills. You never know who's watching you. So if people were able to come up to me and tell me, hey, I appreciate the fact that you took charge of the situation and you resolved it, that's a plus for me. So no hard feelings, but it was interesting to see that happen. And I was like, wow, okay. It was definitely me and the new girl, and I was equally new too. I was just like 2 months in. So, but I made it happen, and it is what it is. But it was definitely great. But yeah, thank you guys so much. One thing I will say is I see 37 of you. Why do I have only 4 likes? Back to the issue. I see 37 of you. 37. 10 people. I think it's 10. I'm still learning this, guys. I'm probably getting the number wrong. But all I know is that the number of views are not matching the number of people watching the live. So get it together. Get it together. Get it together. But yes, any more questions? Do you guys have any more questions for me? Anything you want me to share? But yeah, training, I believe, is now 7 weeks. So if you're going out there, it might be 7 weeks for you. I don't know when they're going to roll it out, but it's definitely going to happen. But it shouldn't be bad. Don't be discouraged at all. The more time, the better. I understand the pay is not good enough during that time. But yeah, that being said, training pay is not pay that you can write home about. But the job is good. And as I said in my video where I talked about our pay, you can make good money. Yes, there's a lot of potential to make good money. So don't worry once you put in your time. And when I said that I spoke to a flight attendant that was making $14,000 a month, it's possible. Like it's possible. They are like, they were lit, because I asked them honestly. For me, that's how my approach to them. Like, my approach is not to get information and use against whoever or whatever. That's not my goal. My goal is genuinely to find out if this job is worth it. Is it worth it going through 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks of training? Yes, that's what I heard, Scott. I heard training is not going to be 7 weeks. I didn't see the email, but somebody saw something, and I heard they said it's going to be 7 weeks. But I think it's going to be good though, because I feel like during the 6 weeks, they did not spend a lot of time on service deliveries. So I'm hoping that the 7th week would be focused on service delivery, especially on international trips, because it's not easy. Like, those international trip service are like a whole beast on its own. So I think it would be great. But yeah, 7 weeks might be long, but it's definitely something. It will be helpful. It will be. Or T has, does your Airline give us luggage? I saw something that you have to get your own. If so, what luggage did you get? So for me, coming right out of training, I would say invest in the most important things like a lunch bag. If you already on your own have a carry-on size bag that's black, all black, and your zippers are either gold or silver, that's it. That's all you need. You need a black carry-on bag. So that's what I did. Before I went for training and all, I already had a black carry-on bag. So that's what I used for my first month. The only reason why I bought a Travel Pro carry-on luggage bag for work was because the bag that I had, even though it was good enough, it wasn't durable. And I felt like it was going to fall apart earlier, if not sooner, if I use it as frequently as I was working as a flight attendant. So I got the Travel Pro after training, after a month of working. I didn't get it during training. I got it after training after I worked for a month, because it's like almost $200 after the discount and everything. So it's not cheap. And you're making $61 while you're in training a day. So the math, it doesn't add up. But yes, I got mine a month after flying. But if you already have a black luggage carry-on size bag, use it. And the other reason why I decided to swap after a while was to get the Travel Pro was because I wanted my black luggage to be a backup for me. My luggage has been taken before, as you guys saw in my story time video. So I did not want the situation whereby I did not have a backup carry-on bag. So I got the Travel Pro after a month of flying, after training, just so that I can keep my purse, the one I had before training, as backup. Just in case something happens to Travel Pro, I have something to use to go to work. Work doesn't stop simply because your luggage is missing. So yes, I got Travel Pro, and I did not get the 4-wheel because I heard the 2-wheel is much stronger at the base, but it's honestly not easy. It's not that bad, because if you have a J-hook to put your lunch bag or your additional bag on it, gravity takes effect and it makes it easy for you to pull those bags. But also remember, you're carrying that luggage with you. You're going to be putting it in the overhead bin, so pack as light as you can. Honestly, as much as I'm sharing this advice, I don't follow it every day. I say I pack light, and I get on the plane and my luggage is so heavy. So do you? But yeah, I got Travel Pro. It was very good, and through Delta we do get a discount as well. If you go through Delta Perks, you do get a discount as well. So if you end up with them, you do get a discount. And I'm sure all the other airlines like American, United, and all the other airlines should have discounts as well, because we buy the bags, we use the bags. Hello. Why not? Chinery, I think I'm saying your name wrong, but once again, forgive me in advance. Love your channel. Quick question: can you choose your day offs as a reserve flight attendant? So with the airline company that I work for, we get only 6 days of reserve in a month. But if you work with an airline company where once you're out of training, you're put on straight reserve, you can bid for your days off. Everything in the industry is about bidding, and your seniority level will tell whether you can hold it or not. So you can bid for, let's say, like me right now, what I bid for is that I want Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's what I did for August. I wanted Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, so the system can schedule me for any day between Thursday to Sunday, because I wanted to work weekends. You can bid for it, but it's a matter of can you hold it or not. And your ability to hold it is dependent on your seniority level. But what I will say is that you can swap your trips and move things around for you to get those days off. So once you get something, you're not stuck with it. That's one thing you have to keep in mind. You're not stuck with it. So you might want a certain date off, maybe the 16th of August off, and then you requested for it when you were bidding for your schedule, but maybe your seniority level did not allow you to hold it, so you got to sign a trip on the 16th. There are social media platforms where we have so many Facebook pages where you can post that trip there and ask somebody to swap with you or pick up the trip so you can get that day off, or you can actually swap with the system. So for me, I love swapping with the system, because if I want the 16th off and I have a trip on the 16th, all I'm gonna do is to go on the system and look for a trip on any other day that I'm willing to work and just swap into it. Obviously, there are some legalities and certain things that might prevent that from going through, but it's possible. The job is flexible. So don't worry about your schedule being the week that you don't want it. If you want specific days off, you can make it work. Sometimes you might have to take extra from somebody just so you can get that day off. But if you ask me, as long as you're going to get the day off, that's what's important, right? I hope that answers your question though. Let me know if it doesn't, and I would go through it again. Yes, Scott, training is 7 weeks now, but like I said, I hope the 7th week is on an international service or something. But yeah, Herman says, so great of you to talk with us. Yeah, thank you so much. I want to do this more because I feel like we can actually have a true conversation where you can get real-time responses to your questions as well. I do need to figure out the timing though. That way I can give you guys a heads up on when it's going to happen. David said, Ching Ching, you can make it happen. Exactly. You can make anything happen in this industry, honestly. And that's the beauty of it. And that's the thing that I love about it the most. The international destinations are cool. I went to Amsterdam it was a good, maybe because I've flown international on my own even before I did this job, but I enjoy, with being a flight attendant and creating content, I personally enjoy giving you guys the resources you need to be successful. Those vlogs about these the layovers and enjoying your layovers are all fun and good. But at the end of the day, I believe in wellness and taking care of yourself. So if you are stressing yourself out, trying as much as possible to enjoy your layovers, is spending money and not enjoying the job because your money situation is bad and you're tired and you're stressed, then it's not worth it. I would want you to have a wholesome experience. Enjoy the location, rest when you want to, because you're not obligated to go out on your layovers. You're not. Like, I honestly feel like I would be one of those senior mamas that will slam click. I go to the destination and I just get in my room, eat my food, and I sleep. Because I feel you enjoy these destinations more when you're there with somebody you know, somebody, or even if it's a crew member, somebody you know, and you actually have a good amount of time to enjoy the layover. So like if I have kids, for example, I don't think I'll be out here jumping from one train to the other simply because I really want to enjoy a layover. I would want to rest. So when I come back, I can spend time with my kids. So figure out what works for you and do it. Don't be forced or influenced or pressured to do stuff on your layovers. You're not obligated to do so. You're laying over. You're supposed to use that time to rest and unwind. So whatever resting and unwind means to you, do exactly that. Yeah, but it's a good job. Like, my goal with this channel is to give you guys the resources you need to be successful, because when I was going through training, it was tough. Like, I went through so many channels, so many videos, not because they could not give me the content because they were doing something wrong, but the process is a lot. I was just fortunate that I stopped working for like between December. I went for training in March, but I stopped working in November because I wanted to take time off of working. So I was happy training was in March because it gave me time to rest. So for me as an individual, my story is different. I was not working when I was preparing for training and going through all the ups and downs and the hustle and everything. So it made it easy for me to transition into going for training and actually doing the job. Things flowed better for me. But one thing I noticed from other flight attendants that create content about the job was that during that time, they had a lot going on, so they were not able to properly structure their content. That's why it made it harder for them to give like the full-fledged information you would need. But I had the opportunity to be able to do so. That's why I shared it. I created playlists so it's easier and everything. So that's the reason why. But I'm glad you guys are all finding it very useful as well. Gia says, I feel like Daddy D is always improving, hence the 7 weeks. Exactly. And that's my thought, because initially it was 8 weeks. So, and then it was brought down to 6 weeks, but I haven't really gotten a lot of information as to the details as to what's going to change or what will be added on. But I'm assuming that it being 7 weeks is for our own good. But I would love the 7 weeks. I mean, when you're in the moment, you don't want 7 weeks because it means you're away from home for 7 weeks. But thinking about it and being on the field right now, we can spend more time on service delivery, especially when it comes to international service delivery, because it's very different. But once again, they can show you all they want, but unless you actually do the job, the feeling is different for sure. Scott. What is Scott saying? Scott says, and just to add, Travel Pro has some outlet locations in some areas and may save you a few dollars. Exactly. So listen to Scott. Just look them up and look for their outlets, and you should be able to find the outlets. Make sure whenever you're buying something related to this job, you're getting a good discount on it, because we get discounts at the airport, and depending on where you're buying or the service you're looking for, you get a discount for being a flight attendant as well. So utilize your discounts and take advantage of it. When it comes to parking at the airport, using parking services, always take advantage of your discounts. Don't rush into doing things. Take your time. That's another advice that I would share. There's so much pressure when you're going through training in this job as a whole of becoming a flight attendant, but don't be rushed. Like when people were getting Travel Pros and all that, I didn't get any. I used the luggage that I had. Even if you have to borrow it from someone, do it, because the pay you're going to get in training is not enough to sustain you during training and after training. And it takes a while before you start earning the 5,000, the 6,000, the 4,000 in a month, and the 7,000 or the 8,000 or whatever in a month. So you have to make sure that you're spending wisely, because while you're in training, your bills at home are still piling up. So you have to make sure that you're paying attention to your expenses, and don't buy things unless you really need it. Don't buy things unless you really need it. Like an example is getting your nails done, for example, the red nail polish and all that. Like if you don't already have a red nail polish, you don't have to spend money on pedicures, because nobody's looking at your fingers. As long as your nails are properly trimmed, you're fine. So why spend money on getting your nails done? I know everybody's wellness experience is different, and what makes people feel good is different. But if you can save money, save money. Don't buy different types of makeup because you really want to wear makeup. The only time I wore makeup was brand day, when we wore our uniforms. But on a daily day basis, I was not wearing nothing. Like I was going natural. I came, natural I am. Like it's not worth it. Like when you're out of training, you can do those things. But now that you're in training, your focus should be learning the content and delivering. Like there's so many things to worry about than trying to do unnecessary things. So please don't spend your money just anyhow, because training money is not training money. Training money is not training money, I repeat. Chinery repeats again. Thank you so much. I am having a background check with your company right now. Perfect. Oh my God, don't remind me about my background check. See, I schooled in Europe at some point in my life, but I didn't live there. So during my background check, it popped up, and it was a whole situation, and that delayed my background check. But one thing, it was just too much going on. I was like, no, this is just way too much. I had to send emails back and forth with the people just to get it resolved, but it did not make for a good experience when it came to my background check. Plus, I've lived in different continents and different countries over periods of time, so there's a lot to sift through. So I can't blame them. But one thing I will say is that if you've gone for your face-to-face interview and you've gotten your CJO, anything that is supposed to happen after you get your CJO, be on it. Be on it. Respond as swiftly and as quickly as you can and as accurately as you can. Because the reason why I say this is because it would impact the training class you get assigned. There were people that I got my CJO with on the same day, but I ended up in an earlier training class than them. So by the time that I was in training in like week 3, week 4, whatever, they were now coming to training. So be swift with your responses for sure. Don't mess around with that. Chariot also has, well, if it's 6 weeks, I guess I gotta get through it. Who knows? It might not start with your training. It might start with next year or something. But I heard a little bit of talk about the fact that it's now going to be 7 weeks. But always see the positive side of everything. Gia says, I agree. As a mom, I'm definitely going to use my layovers to just relax until I actually learn the job, which is what I really liked about you. Display that on your channel. Exactly. I'm in no rush. These countries are not going anywhere. I mean, obviously, there are going to be moments where we might not fly to certain destinations, but basically, this job is a job that you can do long term. There are people who are currently doing this job that are in their 60s, I hope 70s, I think, or 80s, honestly. I don't know, 70s or 60s or whatever. So you can do this job long term, and the longer you stay in it, the more the better the benefits become. So why overwork yourself? Because once you get burnt out and stressed out and frustrated, chances are that you're going to quit, you're going to give up, and you don't want to do that. So that's the whole point of it. So take it easy, ease yourself into the job, and that's what I did. So thank you for appreciating that, because most of the time there's this whole outlook or impression out there that, oh my God, flight attendants are traveling all over the world, that's the job. So everybody gets in and they really want to do that right out the door, but you don't have to, because those destinations are not going anywhere. This month, I have the opportunity to pick up as many international rotations as I want, but I only picked up one because I'm not really pressed about it. You know, it's going to be there. Amsterdam is going to be there. London will be there. Paris will be there, you know? So the truth of the matter is, if you get this job, take care of yourself to make sure you enjoy it. You take your time. That way you can last longer and actually enjoy your days off. If you want to fly to somewhere to have fun, you can do it. Like, you have to be strategic and figure out what's important to you. And remember, when you go on your layovers and you're going out, you're spending money. And for somebody who just came out of training with that training pay, you cannot be out here spending money like that, you know? And that's how people end up in debt. That's how people end up having debt, and they can't even enjoy the job because you're frustrated. Because, and especially as you can fly a lot to make a lot of money, it's not good for your health. So you, at some point, you're going to have to relax. And if you're wasting money, then you won't be able to relax because you need to work more just to make more money to sustain your life. And you don't want to live like that. No, don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. David says, where's everyone? UK. Oh, David, you're in UK? How is it back there? Oh, I need to go to London. I just can't get with the whole liquids in that little bitty bag situation. Once I get over that, I'll definitely be in London. I do want to do one different international destination every month. In July, I was forced to do Amsterdam and on my reserve days, and I did it. In August, I am doing Amsterdam again, but in September, I do want to do London or Paris. But as a new flight attendant also, honest truth is that there are some destinations that you might never get because there are certain people that are always doing it. But I would say see the positives in what you do. For me, I do domestic trips and I look for high time domestic trips. So if I'm doing a domestic 3-day, I want it to be 20 hours worth or 19 hours worth or 18, pushing it. But mainly I want 19, 20, 21, 22. And my base in Seattle, we're lucky that we can get domestic trips that are worth that much, but it might not be the case somewhere else. So you might not get certain international destinations because certain people just want to work that all the time. But the good thing is that you do have flight benefits. So you can take a trip to those locations. But if you are flying, you can, if you're working a trip, you can bring somebody along and you can go with them to enjoy your layovers. And that's what I did with Hawaii. My goal with Hawaii is that my goal is to go to all the locations that we have in Hawaii: Honolulu, Maui, Lihue, Kona. See what's there, and then the next time I work those rotations, I can actually enjoy the layovers. So all my Hawaii trips that I've been to, I have not gone out to do anything. Honestly, I'm tired because I'm new. I'm adjusting to this flying thing, and it's not easy. It takes a toll on your body. So I've been trying to adjust and adapt, but the views are very pretty. The environment is very serene. So the job is really good. It's good. It's worth doing. Yeah, especially because you don't have to retire. So you can work it to the very end. David is in UK. Oh my God, it is late, David. It is late, but I'm wide awake thanks to your chit chat and energy. No problem. Thank you so much for supporting me. We need to. How is the UK? How is the weather there right now? How is it? Scott, what's up? Where's the comment? Bring the message back, Scott. Charia said, I'm definitely taking your advice. Please do. Trust me, I am here for you. I am here to be as honest and as open as possible. All right. Any more questions? Oh my God, it's been an hour and 14 minutes. Wow. It didn't feel like it though. It was nice chatting with you all. I appreciate you all for being here. Just go ahead and like the video, give it a heart, like the video, and share my channel too. Like I was saying at the beginning of this live, I'm trying to hit 1K. I believe I'm currently, where am I sitting at right now? Where am I sitting at? Where are we right now? I'm currently sitting at 938 subscribers, but I do appreciate you all. It's a lot, like getting 900 people to actually subscribe to my channel. These days, it's not easy to get subscribers, and I appreciate all the love and support that I receive from all of you. You've been amazing. You've made my journey and experience been great, and I love being able to share them with you because I know what you're going through. I've been through it. So I appreciate you all. I'm definitely going to go out since there's no more questions. No more, 9:38. Yes, it is 9:38. Thank you, David. Thank you all so much. I do plan on doing this a lot. I'll try and figure out a schedule around it. Now that I'm going to be working weekends and getting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off, I might probably post videos on Tuesdays and do lives on Thursdays. But I'll figure it out and I'll let you know. Or I can just do an impromptu live and then we can all show up. Gia says, thank you very much. You're absolutely enlightening. Thank you so much. Scott says, us in the comments like the live. Thumbs up it, share the live, share the channel. Thank you so much, Scott. And Orit said it was really nice being here in your live. I shared your channel earlier to the DO applicants group. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you all. I will be checking out. I'm definitely going to work on the visual aspect of this, but I appreciate your patience with me. See you all in my next video. I have a video coming out August 1st, which is this coming Tuesday. So please stay tuned. It's going to be released by 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. So please stay tuned. It's going to be my August reaction. My reaction to my August schedule, and I did some good stuff, so I think I did some things that you all might appreciate as new flight attendants, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much. Cherio says I appreciate the live. Thank you too, and I am checking out. Bye bye.